Eastern after PTI with Sage and Kevin. They'll take you inside John Gruden's plan to turn around the Raiders. Plus, is the NBA sleeping on the Celtics? And Nick Saban reveals what it is about Tua that matters most. SportsCenter on ESPN and the ESPN app right after PTI. Welcome back to First Take. We are coming to you live from above the Chase River deck at Pier 17. What's up, Damien?
What's going on?
What's up, Dominique?
He's back.
All right. Well, let's take the show home, okay? AFC West matchup for Thursday night football tonight. The 4-4 Oakland Raiders versus 4-5 LA Chargers. Which team has more riding on tonight's game?
I mean, I think it's the Chargers. The Raiders have already overachieved. I don't think that their plan had them in playoff contention. And while they're on the fringe of playoff contention right now, it seemed to me that when John Gruden got there, we all laughed at him for some of the decisions he's made and the fact that he's playing kind of like 1990s run and shoot style football with a D-line that can't rush the passer. He's made this team respectable quickly. He's already won for this season. They're gearing up for next year in Vegas. That's when they want to start making their push, when they are in their new fan base. So right now, it's kind of, they already have their successes this season. They want to keep building, but if they lose tonight, I don't think anyone in that organization is going to be depressed or disappointed with where they've gone. Consider the fact that their offseason had all that turmoil with Antonio Brown and all that nonsense. They're a solid, respectable football team. However, before the season started for the Chargers, there were Super Bowl aspirations. They had some injuries that kind of calmed some of that excitement, but they definitely thought there were playoff aspirations for their aging quarterback, Phillip Rivers. Their window is right now, and they have a chance, potentially, though they're on a fringe in a weak AFC, to make a run and get into the playoffs in wild card, and then at least anything can happen. I think Anthony Lynn and the Chargers need to win this game tonight. They have a lot more on it than the Raiders. I think it's easy.
Now, I want to go with the Raiders. I think, listen, it's one thing to talk about house money. I know they're 4-4 and they're probably ahead of where the projection is. But do you think John Gruden cares about thinking about Vegas right now? He's thinking about here and now. Because, if I'm Derek Carr, we know that the Oakland Raiders have ammunition going into the next draft if they want to make the choice of going a different direction at quarterback. I think it's really important for the Oakland Raiders to keep this thing going, especially Derek Carr, if he wants to move on with the Raiders to Las Vegas. They can't let up. They can't say, oh, we're 4-4 right now and everything is good. They still got to continue. Derek Carr in particular still got to continue to play at a high level if he still wants to be the quarterback of the Oakland Raiders moving forward.
Maybe it's Derek Carr. Maybe it's a lot of pressure on him. But I think, and I could be wrong, obviously, maybe he can win over John Gruden. But I think John Gruden is out on Derek Carr already. I think he was out on Derek Carr when he got there. If he thought that Derek Carr was the guy, they had a roster. They had Khalil Mack. They had guys. They had a team that wasn't without talent. He could have built a team to win right now.
He's playing good right now,
but I think he's playing good right now because John Gruden has fixed the offense in a way that allows him to throw these short passes. I think John Gruden would like to have an offense that's more dynamic. So I think Derek Carr is probably good enough to be a starting quarterback in the league. But John Gruden, this is an important point. They signed John Gruden to a 10-year contract. So I might be listening to you if it was somebody else, some other coach on a 3-year, 4-year deal. He's like, we got to win now or they're going to move on from me. John Gruden has a 10-year contract. He is going to use that time, use it wisely. And I think signing a coach to a long contract is probably smart because then he can make decisions that are in the best interest, the long-term interest of that franchise. He's on a 10-year contract. He is not looking to win right now. He's not looking to win with Derek Carr. He is looking to build a good team, a good roster, then insert a young, cheap quarterback. That's what I imagine he's trying to do. So I think he wants to win, obviously, but I think that they're not going to lose any sleep over him not winning this game or this Thursday night game.
Well, absolutely. I think every game counts when you think of the Oakland Raiders because, again, not only are we talking about the here and now, we're not projecting, they're going to be good next year because we don't know what next year is going to hold.
Right.
If you're 4-4, literally you're in second place in the AFC West. Nobody thought you would be in this position. Like, you literally have to apply all the pressure now. And if I'm the Oakland Raiders, I can't be thinking about next year. I got to be thinking about right here and right there. And part of that thought process is just like the LA Chargers, guess what? The Oakland Raiders are moving into a new stadium.
A new
so
city,
you want
yeah.
so you want to continue to keep having your foot on the gas so you can sell all those PSLs and everything in the new stadium.
All that makes sense for any other organization in any other situation. The man in charge there, the man who hired the GM, is John Gruden. They gave him a 10-year deal. You don't do that. If this was a 4-year deal, that's one thing. But right now, he is on the long-term trajectory that he wants to build his ideal team for the future. That's different for Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn needs to win now. Anthony Lynn in Phillip Rivers is he's at the end of his career. They need to win now, and they have a roster to win now.
Would you say Anthony Lynn? I disagree with that because I don't look at Anthony Lynn as like having bad job security. After what he did last year.
The expectations matter. Expectations matter. Coming into the season, some people thought they were going to the Super Bowl. If they fall short, that's a disappointment. Coming into the season, some people thought the Raiders may not win 4 games. They already playing with house money going into the next season. I think they just need to be good. They don't need to win tonight.
All right, guys, let's move on to another game, all right? Things don't get any easier for the 2-6 Browns as they host the 6-2 Bills this week. And when a major topic is the length of your quarterback's mustache, you know things are probably not going so well. So, Dom, will the Browns turn their season around?
So last week, I said yes, because I looked at their schedule and I said, man, the second half of their schedule gets really easy. There are a lot of bad teams on their schedule going forward. But I forgot one important thing. They are also a bad team. So, like, I think that it's potential that they could turn around and get a couple of these wins, but I have no faith in them. This was a team, again, that had high expectations. And I think Damien and I and many of us agreed that they weren't going to be great. I picked the Ravens to win the division. I didn't think that they would win the division, but I didn't think they were going to be bad. I thought they might get a wild card spot or be in contention. They are bad right now, and I think that if the things don't go well, they got 2 games against the Bengals who have no wins. And I don't feel completely confident that they'll win those games. And they're up and down. They had a great game against the Ravens, but a lot of really bad games. I could see this going really bad, and Freddie Kitchens may not be back next season.
Well, I think, listen, first of all, I think the Cleveland Browns had a lot of people with fool's gold, in the offseason with all the splashy acquisitions by GM John Dorsey, and then you have a first-year head coach who was a position coach like a calendar year ago. Think about that. Everyone jumped on the Browns bandwagon because they traded for Odell and Baker Mayfield, kind of made the Browns relevant towards the end of the year last year, and then they elevated his offensive coordinator to the head coach. And then look what happened. We always talk about in pro football, coaching matters more so in football than any other sport. Right. And you're seeing it play out with the Cleveland Browns. They're the most penalized team in the National Football League. The quarterback has 12 interceptions, tied for the league lead in interceptions. This team just seems dysfunctional, and I don't see them beating the Buffalo Bills this week. Yeah. Buffalo Bills have one of the best defenses in the National Football League, so I think they're going to continue to spiral out of control.
This is embarrassing because the problem with this team is the offense. You hired the coach, Freddie Kitchens, in part because your quarterback liked him. You skipped all these steps that normal coaches take where they go from position coach to coordinator for a few years to actually having a successful offense to then getting a head coach.
But isn't that but that's a part of this new culture that we're seeing now where
it was
we want to hire the quarterback whisperer, the quarterback guru instead of hiring CEOs of men. Because that's what head coaching is all about is can you command the team? Can you command all 53 guys, not just one guy in the quarterback?
Yeah, that is a full-time job. And I think you're right. If you are good at quarterback whispering, then maybe you should be a quarterback coach. If you're good at coordinating offenses, then maybe you should be an offensive coordinator. But being the head coach is about marshaling the culture of the team. And Freddie Kitchens has not learned to do that. And he talks about solving the problems as if the problem is something that you can fix in film study. That's not it. They don't believe. They don't believe in what you're giving them. They don't believe in you. They're not putting in the work because the talent is there. I don't criticize Dorsey for the players he brought in. I think those splash acquisitions weren't a problem because it presumably was built around some good foundational players because that defense is still playing well. The problem, the bad decision that he made was promoting Freddie Kitchens to head coach because it doesn't seem that he's ready.
Culture also not only comes from the coach, you also see that trickle down from the quarterback as well. What do you guys think of mustache gate, if you will? What do you think about your quarterback changing his facial hair 3 times within the same game day?
Oh, I know how you feel. Go ahead.
Well, listen, I just think that it's the one thing about the Browns, like when you do these type of stunts, when you're winning, it's cute. Everybody talk about it like everyone's having a good laugh.
That would have been stuff of lore if they were winning.
Yeah, like if the Browns were 6-2 instead of 2-6, we will all be, like laughing, just
That
giving
Baker.
praise, like the Baker, that guy, the bravado, and this guy just gets it. But when you're 2-6, nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's the problem here. Nobody cares unless the Browns start turning around and winning some games.
Yeah.
Then it just seems like we're just going to continue to pile on Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, it's obvious now because also Freddie Kitchens had the remark where he said, "I don't look at stats." And if Freddie
Like,
Kitchens,
how do you not look at stats?
yeah, if Freddie
That's
Kitchens,
part of the job.
If Freddie Kitchens was winning, we would say, "See, that's a real football guy. He don't got time for stats. He's breaking down film." And if Baker Mayfield were winning, we'd be like, "Hey, that's so cute, his mustache thing." Like, I still appreciate the fact that he keeps his sense of humor and he keeps it going while he's losing. But I think it's right. There's nothing you can say that people are going to like. You will never have the right answer until you start throwing touchdowns and winning games. And the sooner Baker realizes that, the better off he'll be. Because last week he was complaining about the coverage that he received, saying that sometimes we celebrate his passion and sometimes we criticize his passion depending on what happens on the field. Duh. Like, that's what happens. If you win, you can say and do just about anything. If you lose, everything you say and do is stupid.
If you were his teammate or his coach, perhaps even better, his coach, and
That ain't my concern. I don't believe that him doing the extra stuff impacts the way he plays on the field. I think he's playing poorly because he's playing poorly, not because he's shaving his mustache. So as a coach, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, stop with the comments, stop with the mustaches." I'd say, as long as you are putting in the time and the effort, that's fine. Sooner or later, we'll think that's cute. I don't want to hear it. You need to win. But that's where you stop.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is like you shaving your mustache has nothing to do with averaging 12 penalties a game. Shaving your mustache has nothing to do with 12 interceptions that you've thrown throughout the season. So that's what they just need to win.
absolutely. Be you, Baker, and get the W. All right. Tomorrow's show salutes the troops from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson. Molly, Max, Stephen A. will have you saluting our heroes.